How's it going, everyone? So tonight we're out here in the shed in these nice cold temperatures. We're going to talk about some Surefire suppressors that we have here. We have about 6 total, plus a Warden here. And what we're going to do is we're going to do some size comparisons and everything, get them on some guns, show you what they look like on each one and how long they are or how nice and compact they are on the gun, and hopefully give you kind of a nice idea of what you might be getting into if you want to get one of these cans. We're also going to be showing you what comes in the boxes, and we'll be showing you a little bit about some of these guns too, so stay tuned.
How you guys doing? Talk a little bit about my Mark 18 setup. The upper is an all Colt. It's a 10.3 barrel Socom profile. It's got a RIS-2 Daniel Defense rail. I'm running a Radian SD charging handle, Daniel Defense, fixed sights. They do not co-witness with the EOTech on the riser, but my EOTech has a throw lever, so I can pop it off real quick and use the irons if I needed to. I kind of set this up wanting it to be slightly clone-ish. So I'm running a 951 Surefire, like old school incandescent bulb. I think they were rated at around 60 or 80 lumens. It's got the old Surefire IR filter on it. Got a Surefire FA 556-212, which is kind of the legacy Surefire suppressor. It's not part of the RC2 or even the RC1 line. It was I believe the original Surefire suppressor that won the Socom contract. I run a Tango Down stubby grip on it, a B5 SOP mod, a Law Tactical folder, and then if you can take a look, I've got a Blue Force Gear Ready mod. These are kind of old. They're kind of cool. I like them. Carry an extra mag on the gun. Overall, I'm pretty happy with how this gun turned out. It shoots super flat. It's a little heavy, but you know, when you're running a quad rail and a heavier barrel and stuff like that, they tend to not be light. But hopefully get a video sometime of shooting a little bit, but it's a pretty awesome gun. Here's we'll call it the Grandpa Socom. Kind of what I consider the legacy Surefire suppressor. It's 556-212, and this one's fairly new. I took it, I finally got it out of jail probably about 6 months ago, so I don't have a lot of rounds on it, but you can see I typically run this with a suppressor cover on it, and I think that's got a little bit to do with the wear on the finish, but I think it looks pretty cool. Got some character. The suppressor cover I run is a Coltac, and these guys make pretty awesome products. I've had this one for a number of years now, in the Lord's camo, of course. And what you get when you buy one of their covers is this piece right here, which is, I think they call it a thermal wrap, but what it does is it's a sleeve that goes over the top of the suppressor. And like so, this one happens to fit, when it's on the gun, it happens to fit all the way over the locking collar and everything. So it kind of, you know, does a couple things. It protects your suppressor from getting, you know, dinged up or stuff like that if you've got it in a vehicle. And it also makes it to where if you switch suppressors regularly, you can grab this without, you know, burning yourself very severely. These are made out of like a nylon. Like I said, they're awesome quality. It's just got 3 little pull tabs on it, and then you just wrap it around the suppressor tight, and mine's, you know, use it quite a bit, so it fits pretty well, but just kind of slides over. Like so. And then if you had just gotten done shooting this a bunch, you can, as long as you can get the collar undone, you can get it taken off. And what I typically do is I'll take it off and then I'll take the wrap off of it and everything and go put it somewhere where it can get some airflow going to help cool it down. So I run this can on this Mark 18, and then I've also got a chopped Daniel Defense upper. It's chopped down to 13.2 inches, so it's essentially a long Mark 18. It's got a Riz 2 rail on it. Very similar setup to this, only it's about 3 inches longer. I run the FH212s on both of them, the flash hider version, and pretty happy with both of them. This is my 14.5 inch Colt. It's got a Socom profile barrel. It's pin and welded by Adco. I've got a Surefire brake pin to it. It's got a Knights URX 3.1 on it. Viking Tactics vertical grip. Running this is my newest suppressor. It's a Surefire RC2 556, and it's got a Colt Defense lower, Vortex Razor 1x6 and a Badger 193 mount, and it's got an Acro P2 offset on it. I run a BCM charging handle on this one, battle arms selectors, and a tried and true CTR stock, and this is a pretty solid setup. It's a little on the heavy side with the barrel profile and the LPVO, but like I said, it's pretty solid setup. It's right size for me too. I'm a pretty tall guy, so it kind of works out for me.
So the upper that we have here right now is a complete BCM 11.5. And this is the suppressor that lives on it. It's a full-size 30 cal RC2, and it gives you the most sound suppression that you can have on a shorter gun, and doesn't make the length so obnoxious. So that's why I have this can on here. BCM charging handle, EOTech on a Unity riser. I've got a Surefire dual fuel on here. I would like to get a turbo to put on it sometime with a clicky switch, and then I run the Slate Black Industries rail panels and whatnot. I like them more than the BCM panels, and I'm not spending money for rail scales. And so that is just about everything. Keep this upper pretty slick. I want it to be as minimal as possible, less stuff to go wrong on it, and really enjoy it. The suppressors that we're going to be comparing to you guys are what we have in front of us. Over here we have a RC2 762, so it's a full-size can. We have an RC2 556, so it shoots 223 and under on the size. We have a 762 Mini. It's not an RC2, but it's one of the earlier models. We have an RC2 Mini 556, so this one only shoots 223 and below. And then we have a Warden here. So what we have in front of us is going to be our first size comparison, which would be an 11.5 with the Surefire RC2 762 full-size can on it. And then this is a 14.5 pin and weld with a Surefire RC2 Mini on it. At first glance, you're looking at both of these uppers and you're like, they're the same length. What would one do better than the other? And I'm kind of going to dive into that and my thought process behind this upper here. So this upper would be pretty similar to like an 18-inch barreled gun with this can on it. And with the shorter barrel, I figured I could afford a longer can on it to get better sound suppression. And it does that very, very well. You know, you're shooting, it still will ring your ears because suppressors aren't actually that quiet. But it takes that concussion down to such a manageable tone. It doesn't bring pain to the ear anymore. And it has a really nice kind of deep tone to it that it really helps make these shorter barrels thrive. Also, with it being a longer can, it helps soak up more of that unburnt powder that comes out of these short barrels, and the flash coming out of the front is mitigated a lot. I mean, it kills almost every bit of flash that you can see. The next upper that we have here would be what, you know, some guys might call a recce gun or something like that. You have a little bit longer barrel with better velocity than like an 11.5, with this being a 14.5. So you're getting kind of around where like some of these rounds were designed for, what the military uses now. And this mini RC2 on it, really, it just like this one, it tames down the concussion to where it doesn't hurt anymore to shoot it. Would I suggest shooting it without ears? No, I wouldn't. But it does a really good job at taming that down. And you get to keep a shorter suppressor on a longer barrel. So if you want that velocity, you have the ability to keep that velocity and keep your gun nice and compact. What we did on this one was we swapped the cans around to show you a little bit of something else that you could do. This is my can, and I've taken it out and shot it on this upper here before, and it does not take away a lot of sound, but it still makes it so much better to shoot than unsuppressed. It still has a nice tone. It's very manageable. And the biggest thing that I like about this is that it keeps this gun incredibly short. Good maneuverability. I mean, if you're some kind of operator or something like that, you'll be able to move really, really easy with a gun like this. So that's why, you know, you might want something like this on this short of a gun, but if you want more sound suppression, go to something a little bigger. Now, if you want something quieter, a setup somewhat like this, you know, if you had this a 14.5, you had a 16-inch or an 18-inch barrel or something like that, these are pretty impressive. I mean, I don't shoot very often without having some kind of hearing protection on. But, you know, on like a 14.5 like this, it's incredibly, like, you don't expect it to be as quiet as it is because most of the time suppressors just don't do that well of a job of sound suppression. It's mostly for flash mitigation. It doesn't ring my ears. I can shoot multiple shots with it without ears on, and it doesn't eventually start to ring or anything. It takes all of the concussion away. So if you had like a DMR gun or something like that, or like a precision gun that you wanted, and you wanted it to be as quiet as possible and as little flash as possible or anything like that, one of these longer cans does a really, really phenomenal job. And I think that's about the biggest role that you would want for a can this length on a longer barrel, because you do lose maneuverability. The next cans that we have on the table, we're going to show you a little size comparison, is this one is an RC2 5.56, and then this one is a 7.62 Socom. They're basically the same length if you look at them. I believe the 7.62, this is the 7.62 mini, by the way, is a little bit shorter than the full-size 5.56 RC2. So I would say a can like this would be optimized on a barrel this length. You still have a relatively compact package up front, and you get really nice sound suppression from it. It's kind of, you know, a jack of all trades on a upper this size. Now on this one, the big thing that's nice about it being the 7.62 is you can shoot all of your 7.62 caliber bullets through it, whereas this one you cannot, being the 5.56. I know Andy has shot, 6.5 Creedmoor through it. He shot 308 through it. He shot 5.56 through it. I don't really notice a huge difference in the sounds, like out of 5.56 out of this one or this one. Some people think the diameter of the front really impacts the sound of it. I don't think it really does. But you have more capability, I would say, out of a can like this. We have all this nice technology now that we can keep guns shorter, we can make them long, we can have short cans or long cans, and variety is the spice of life. So if it's available to you, use it the way that you want to use it. But these kinds of setups here, like if you had, a nice LPVO or like a 2-10 or a, 4-16 with this, it's a nice quiet upper. And that's where I think a longer can on a longer barrel really shines. So the last thing we have to show you is not a suppressor. It's not an NFA item. It's the Surefire Warden, which I believe they just re-released these. They were kind of either super expensive or unobtainium for a while, but they've been re-released, so it's kind of nice to see them back on the market. This is not a suppressor. Doesn't have baffles in it. It is a blast deflector, basically. It takes all the concussion that would come around from the outside of your muzzle device and pushes it all forward. This is an option for people who live in a state where you can't own NFA items, which is kind of ridiculous, but you still have an option if you want something like this. If you have something with a brake on it, you want to tame that brake down. The sound of a brake is just obnoxious, but it keeps guns really flat, and that's why people like them, but maybe sometimes you want to quiet that down a little bit. These Wardens are a really good option for that. And that's the main reason that I think someone would want one of these. I don't know if you'd want one for a flash hider. I don't think it tames down a flash hider that much. But for guys who want to run a brake on the front of their gun, because these kind of act like a sacrificial baffle to your suppressor. There are multiple reasons to run your brakes. Flatness of shooting, sacrificial baffle. That's kind of where these shine. They really have their purpose and whatnot. And it's nice to see them back on the market, and people aren't charging $400 for a non-suppressor. So that kind of gives you a comparison a little bit of all the different cans that we had here tonight. And hopefully we can do a part 2 at some point. Warms up a little bit, or we both get some time off. We can go out and shoot these guns and kind of show you the difference in each one. Maybe, hopefully, the camera will be able to pick up the sound and whatnot, and you can actually see the guns in action. So, thank you for watching.
All right, guys. We're gonna close out and talk a little bit about my my 7.62 Socom. It's the mini version. I got this suppressor in 2010. It was my very first can, and I've got probably in the neighborhood of 15 to 20,000 rounds through it. I've shot 6.5 Creedmoor through it, probably to the tune of about 1,000 rounds or so. Some 300 blackout, 5.56. It's got some full auto on it. It's just super durable suppressor. The mount, in my opinion, is one of the best on the market. They're super easy to take on and take off, and they're tanks. I don't know if you can see in the camera, but I mean, this thing's got character everywhere. It's a solid can. It's one of those things, if you have, if you're looking at your first suppressor and you're trying to figure out which one to get, I definitely recommend a multi-caliber suppressor as your first one. But, you know, they're really versatile in what you can use them for. And the main thing is to find a good solid brand. It doesn't have to be a Surefire. I prefer Surefire, obviously. I've had really good luck with it, and I hope to have equally as good luck with my newer ones. I guess in closing, we appreciate everybody watching. Hopefully this kind of helps shed some light on different combinations of suppressors that you can run, different barrel lengths, stuff like that. And you know, hopefully we can get out to the range when it warms up a little bit here and get some sound comparisons. Hopefully they'll come through on a camera. But appreciate you guys watching, and that's all we got.